The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the individual hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views or position of Glickman Digital Media, Your Culture's Edge Podcast Network, our shareholders, and our sponsors. This is a Glickman Digital Media original production. Welcome to Growing Your Life with Debbie Santillo. Listen to Deb as she talks to you about her struggles, her opportunities, and her blessings. She gives wisdom with a dose of common sense. She shares her career being a model actress, as well as a writer for a number of publications. And no, here is Debbie Santillo, but you can call her Deb.
This is Debbie Santillo speaking for Growing Your Life. Today I want to talk about how I tend to use myself as an example when I speak to you in my podcasts. Why I do this is because I cannot speak about what someone else went through, what it took, the heartache, the feelings, the energy. I can only speak about what I've gone through and how I felt about it and about the efforts that I've put into and how long it took. So I just wanted everyone to know that's why I speak about myself. It is not done in a prideful way or manner. It's because I know myself better than anybody else. And I feel as though if I explain as to how I got to where I am and what it took to get there, not that I'm in the perfect place, but at least to where I am today, that people will be able to maybe use that information, apply it to themselves, and perhaps do a little something in their own lives to grow. So my last 3 weeks have been tremendous. I literally started working on the last 3 weeks of my life a year ago. My modeling agent had promised me a position if I kept up my end of the bargain, as far as working hard, keeping up my appearance, doing what I needed to do in order to be able to do what I did in the last 3 weeks. I made sure that I did not get suntan lines. I made sure that I did not get burnt or hurt my skin. I made sure that I kept my weight down. I put on just a couple pounds in the last few months before an event I had to do that I waited all year long to do, but then quickly turned it around. I think it was maybe nerves, to tell you the truth. But I went to events, I went to go-sees, I worked hard. I was everywhere I was supposed to be, no matter if I was full of energy and up for it, whether my schedule was already packed full, whether I understood what was exactly expected of me. I made sure I did it and I got there. I pushed myself. It's not easy. So I just want to talk to you about when you're facing such a giant in your life, and you know that there's multiple steps to get to where you're going, which is what I was facing. I felt in the last year that you can do it. You could just take one step at a time. Take just one day at a time. I would have office visits. I would have fittings. I would have times in which I volunteered. I had to run all over the city and put up posters for an event. I spoke with people at shops. I had to go out to the office just to make sure that details were committed to. Amongst all those things that I did, I also had my private life. I had places I had to be, things I had to do for family members. I have a son I get to work and pick up every day. I have a husband that I have to participate with in life. I have a home that I need to keep up. I'm an avid gardener, and so that takes a lot of my time from midweek May until the end of October. I have a grandchild that stays here for 3, sometimes 4 days every single weekend. I believe in the last year of my life, I did not have my grandson here for the whole weekend, maybe only twice, which does not mean he wasn't here. It just meant that there was a day or two we had to skip because literally we weren't going to be here because of schedules. I love my life, but my life gets pretty hectic at times. I have to make sure that I eat well. I have to make sure that I don't overindulge. I have to watch my words. I have to watch my actions. I have to think about more than just myself. As a matter of fact, I often seem to come last on the list. But even when I do, I will try to squeeze out a moment to make sure that I'm hydrating, that I get a little exercise in, that I spend, even if just 5 minutes in the late spring, barefoot in the grass, facing the sun, gathering my thoughts for the day before I start working on my gardens, just to center my thoughts and kind of get a high vibration going. If there's anything bothering me, maybe I talk it out with God, who I believe in. I make sure that I get myself organized for the day, and I just carry on. Something that I started doing many years ago that I have found extremely helpful is to not procrastinate. If you look at the people in your life, I think you'll find that the doers do not procrastinate. People who never seem to get things done, or are disorganized, or never have their ducks in a row, seem to be people who put off what they could do right now, not later today, or not tomorrow. And that's what I do. If I walk by a bush or a plant and I see something that needs to be deadheaded off of it, I don't say, oh, okay, I got to remember that plant. I need to pick the deadhead off of it. No, I right then and there stop myself if I was going to even decide to pass by, and I turn myself back to that plant and I deadhead it. Or I go get my garden scissors and lop off what has to be lopped off. Or I pick the vegetables that look like they're ready to be picked. And then I don't just do that. I take them inside, I wash them, and I make sure that I store them properly. If I see that my herb plants are really growing well, I know what happens to them. Sometimes they start flowering, and then they get a little woodsy, and then they start not having nice, bigger, plush green leaves on them and the herbs that you want to have to gather. So I will make sure, if I look at them and say, you know what, there's a lot there, instead of putting it off and saying, well, they'll be fine, they're growing good, they're not dying off or anything. What I do is I go and get my garden scissors, and I'll go get a bowl, and I will cut down that plant so that I can gather up the herbs, start to dry them, maybe use in the next couple days, them while they're still nice and fresh. And when the herbs are dried after a week or two, and I go and I look at my tray that had the herbs laying on them, I don't just let them lay there. I go get my baggie and my pen, and I label the baggie, and I pluck off the needles from the rosemary or the leaves from the basil or whatever it is that I'm working with, thyme, the cilantro, the sage, the oregano, and I put it in a bag, and I ziplock that bag, and then I go put that bag where I keep my herbs. Guess what? It works. Every single time I want to use herbs, I can either, like I say, go out and just cut a couple and use them right then and there for a recipe I'm working on, or take a picture of them, which I love doing. Or I go to my cupboard where I have all my Ziploc baggies, labeled nicely and dated, and I'm able to take the herbs that I want to use for my recipes that day. I can count on it because I've already done my planning in the spring when I planted them in pots. I've already done my due diligence as far as watering them and feeding them and cutting them so that they can grow more, so I can accumulate more throughout the entire season without them getting kind of scraggly and, like I said, not producing properly and abundantly like they should throughout the season. It works. I do everything like that in my life. If I have a load to wash, I do it. I don't just I actually line dry it or dry it, and then I go ahead that same day and make sure that I fold it, put it away, or hang it. If I know that I have a go-see coming up or an event coming up, and I know I have to wear all black, I will days beforehand choose the black outfit that I want to wear. I will look at that black outfit and I will say, does this look nice and fresh? If not, I will wash it, I will line dry it, I will iron it, and I will hang it, and it'll be sitting there for a couple days before I even need it. So that when the day comes, very pleasantly, not in a rush, efficiently, I could just do my hair and makeup, put on my nice outfit that I have prepared that smells fresh and clean, and I could go to my event. I don't know about you, but when I feel accomplished, I feel happy. So that's just my little words for today. It has helped me to grow my life, and I hope after listening to this, it helps you grow yours. Have a great day. From Debbie Santillo and Growing Your Life.
Growing Your Life was created by Debbie Santillo, and developed, produced, edited, original music by CJ Glickman. This is Your Culture's Edge Podcast Network presentation, and a Glickman Digital Media original production, all right reserved.